Hey, sports fans, Coach Nick here, and welcome to the B-Ball Breakdown live show coming at you, as always, on a Monday afternoon, if you are on the East Coast. And as always, I'm joined by Andrew Combo Sal to discuss the latest and the greatest in the NBA and whatever you want to talk about as well. So, Combo, what's happening, my man?
All is well. Interesting times in the NBA. A lot going on.
Go on.
We're going to talk today about Jared McCain and if he should be Rookie of the Year, surprise Rookie of the Year. My question to you, Coach Nick, is he untradeable at this moment? Because for them to be a win-now team, they probably need more, right? With all the injuries they have all the time.
That is a good point because we haven't. The reason why Jared McCain's even getting minutes is because Maxey goes down, and they had some spots to fill, some minutes to fill, which is a really nice thing to have because I'm envisioning a backcourt of McCain and Maxey. Like that would be a really good backcourt for them with Paul George and Embiid and whoever else is going to round that out, I guess.
Do you think they're almost not saying that McCain is Tyrese Maxey or he'll ever be as good as Tyrese Maxey, but do you think there's too much redundancy in their skill sets to play together?
No, and that's what's funny because people want to keep saying, hey, what does he remind you of? Like I saw this on Twitter. And by the way, head over to Blue Sky. Everyone's over there. Are you over there on Blue Sky yet?
I'm not.
You got to come over because everyone is over there. And I think NBA Twitter has been dying to get over and go somewhere else. So find me a B-Ball Breakdown on Blue Sky. I'm spending I would say half the time there versus Twitter now. And yeah, Blue Sky, it's a new app. It's not even that new. It's been around for a while, but they're like people are signing up by the millions per hour now. It's something crazy like that. So definitely.
So how about Instagram's version of Twitter?
Yeah, Threads. They gave it a shot. I tried to get it. There was just nothing was happening. And so yeah. And then somebody wants to say that it's for lefty lesbians. We're all lefty lesbians. So let's join Blue Sky and enjoy it because it's a much better experience overall. There's still a few things that they might have to add, as far as usability in terms like to make it more like Twitter, but it's almost exactly like Twitter and the vibes are so much better. So head over there.
Let's talk basketball today, man. Some comments should be ignored.
Okay. Listen, the point stands. So anyway, to go over there, find me, sign up, and then we'll have a good conversation. We should probably interact more on social anyway. I feel like we don't do that.
Yeah, I think we have to pick some things up, Coach Nick. We've been doing this a long time. We're probably the best in the business, if you ask me. All but right. We could always get better.
We'll have some arguments. Let's have some beefs on that go back and forth on Twitter. That's what people want.
Well, they actually like when we argue on here. I see the comments. They're like, "Oh, this was cool" because they were debating a little bit,
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll find something to debate about. Let's get into it with McCain. So the redundancy between him and Maxey, I don't know. McCain definitely has a spot-up shooter makeup in his game as well. So I think that he could play alongside him really well. Maybe get some more off-screen stuff because he can move into a spot quickly in the catch and shoot really well. So far, what we've seen now.
Oh, he got movement shooting stuff in his game. You're saying?
Yeah, absolutely, and he seems comfortable doing that. Now, I mean, I got to check real quick what the latest of the stats are for him because I'm sure it's not amazing.
I think he's at 14 points per game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I just want to check his 3-point percentage. I think it's a little bit. It's 40%. So he's getting a nice variation off the dribble and catch and shoot, which is the new thing for combo guards. But I think that they can figure it out now. And then can Nick Nurse figure that out as well? And because there's a balance thing when you're talking about running a half-court offense with two guards like that. There's a thing about where they each start in the offense positionally, and then how that can best affect each other. And if do they move together on the same side? Do they have them separated on other sides? Is Paul George going to work in this whole thing because he wants to handle the ball a whole lot? We saw Reggie Jackson. Did you see that clip someone shared on Twitter where he did not want to give it to him? And no. So McCain runs down. It wasn't. I love Reggie. I don't think he didn't want to give it to him. He was trying to run something on the left side. It wasn't working. And meanwhile, McCain's like me over here, and he finally throws it to him, and he just nailed the three beautifully. So he's that guy who can definitely do both. And I think that the Sixers would be very happy to have him on that and not trade him. Who would they trade? Who would they want to upgrade at this point?
I guess maybe, that's interesting. A win now move. I don't know.
Listen, let me look at the right real quickly. If you're going to start Oubre, you're gonna probably, and he's doing nicely, but I just worry about him in terms of
Larry Nance. How about Larry Nance?
Yeah, I just saw his name pop up. I kind of forgot he's been relegated. He is in Atlanta now, right?
Larry,
He's toiling in obscurity in a way that, we all remembered he could be that guy. Now, I don't know if he's a starter on a great team. That's the difference, right?
I think he is, actually. Him at his best. I remember those Cleveland days. He was a good starter. I mean, I don't know if he's the same athlete as he was.
I don't know. I mean, those Cleveland teams weren't going to contend like the Sixers expect. So that's
he felt like a starting center to me.
Yeah, I mean, and there was a moment where he's on his way to being he can be like a decent 3-point shooter. He could block a shot, grab some rebounds, and do all that stuff that you'd want a role player to be able to do. I think he went away from shooting threes. Let me just check. I'm not mistaken. Actually, well, forgive me. You know what he's shooting right now from this year?
Over 50%, right?
Almost 64% on 2.5 attempts per game. I got to get my eyeballs on this. I will freely admit that I haven't watched the Hawks yet. I need to get my eyeballs.
Is the league percentage up more than ever? Because I feel like there's so many 40% 3-point shooters right now, or 40 plus.
We could tell you that. I think that there was a stagnancy in terms of frequency for a few years where it was around, 48, 47, 48 would lead the league. And now there's this explosion again there. So there's a lot more threes being taken. If we want to know what the average, let's look at the average. It's not, I don't know if that's the best way to do this, but when you look at the league average as of right now, the 3-point percentage is 35.7%. So if we go,
I feel like it used to be like 33, 34, right?
No, it's usually right around there. But let's see. Last year's average was 36.6. So wait, is it up? What did I just say?
No, it's down. If last year was 36,
36.6, it's 35.7.
Yeah.
So it's down. Yeah, it's usually around that 36%, if my memory serves. Let me go back 2 years. So 2 years ago, the average 3-point percentage, it's average. It was 361. So it has gone down, and I think that obviously the attempts and the frequency has gone up. So there might be some correlation there. Like they're just jacking up some extra threes. They're missing them. It's not, but I don't know. And it's not the best way to do it to look at the average across the league, because again, there might be more players who are 40 or over. Right. And so that indicates that there is better shooting, at least from more individuals. So anyhow, and don't forget, if you want us to answer your question, the super chat on YouTube is the best way to go about doing that. It helps us keep the lights on. We really appreciate it. We can put it on the screen and give you some love. So we'd really appreciate it. So let's get back to this. So there's not too many other rookie candidates at this point for Rookie of the Year, and the production from a lot of the rookies is a little bit on the lower side, I think, so far. So you have to go with maybe Zach Edey could be one of the other guys, and then feel free in the comments to start yelling at other people. But if you watch Zach Edey play much this year,
yeah, it's interesting. Any other year he probably wouldn't win Rookie of the Year, but this year's a little bit different, and he's obviously different than any of the Rookie of the Years we've had lately. So it's going to be interesting to see how his career unfolds. I'm still a little bit skeptical. I think he'll be a situational player, but he has a chance for Rookie of the Year only because this wasn't in the strongest draft class.
Yeah. I mean, he's playing 20 minutes a game. He's averaging 11 points. He's shooting 61%. My problem I have is, he's posting up a lot. They're actually giving him post-ups, which is good to see, because you're always wondering just, how often that's going to happen at the NBA level.
Right.
He doesn't have very many moves in the post. And I think he
likes the jump hook, right?
Yeah, he's got a jump hook over the left shoulder almost exclusively. He made one I saw as a left-handed over the right shoulder, but all it is this, step, jump. And now the other argument could very well be at that height, you don't need any other moves, I guess. But he's not amazing. His points per possession in the post-ups are not amazing. But they're okay for maybe as a rookie developing. But I would like to see him have a couple other counters and do a little something else that's a little more clever. But again, he just goes over that left shoulder. And there's no question that the scouting report's now gotten around, and they're going to see that, not let him turn over. And if he does, he's going to be 4 feet farther in the basket than he wants to be. So that'll be tough, to continue developing. And if that's the case, and his post-ups are don't progress, then I don't know if he's going to end up being, winning Rookie of the Year.
It's still really early. I mean, Zachary Risachet had some flashes. He dropped 30 plus on the Knicks in a win. And maybe when he gets more comfortable, he could have more big games like that. Because if you had one big game like that this early in the season, I'm sure it's going to start to happen again at some point. And I don't think we've seen a rookie performance quite like that yet from any other player.
Yeah, well, McCain gave us one. That if that's any indication.
Yeah, what he dropped 29 on Orlando, I think.
Well, he had 30 something and like maybe 10 assists, something like that. Let me check real quick what it was. I'm just going through it against Cleveland. Now, again, Cleveland of all teams is, they're a really good defense. And so to do that against them shorthanded, he had 34 and 10 against Cleveland. And they didn't win. Donovan Mitchell took him to task at the end there to silence the crowd. But he looked really, really good. And he's just got energy. He's just
on both sides, right?
Yeah. I mean, he's a little bit on the short end on that side. He can get shot over by other people, but he brings the energy without question. And that's the thing that you gotta love about him, is that he's just all over the place, trying as hard as he can, and he's got a lot of skills. He's got beautiful finishing off foot finishes with the right hand. He's really jittery. That's the word we want to use. He's got a lot of change of pace to his game, and it's hard to keep him in front.
He plays like how a young player should play, right?
It's funny because one of the kids I'm working with in high school, who's a great shooter, and we're developing other ways to attack. He had turned me on to Jared McCain at Duke last year before anybody really talked about him. And so now I'm sending him the clips like, hey, do this move. This is really great stuff. He's got a lot of that stuff where he'll lift both feet in the air and then kind of go to sort of stutter step facing the sideline as if he's going to go back, just bring the ball back out to the top. And then he turns right back and goes to the basket. So, he's got a really good polished game. And, it's funny because did you see him much at Duke?
A little bit.
So, I mean, I'm kind of wondering if he displayed some of this stuff at Duke as well, as much as we see now.
I mean, it was him and Filipowski. So.
I'm kind of curious what he shot from three because there's a thing about Duke, interestingly enough. Let me get to the college here for him, where there was indications. So at college he shot 41% from three. So he was already elite from there, and took a decent amount. So what I was going to get point to, the worry was at Duke, and it's a whole new coaching staff, so it doesn't necessarily apply anymore like it did when Coach K was there. But we were always a little worried that like Duke was forcing players to be like 10 toes to the rim, square to the basket. They don't dip and all that stuff, and that would hinder you when you got to the NBA. Meanwhile, McCain's stroke looks really good. It's a bit of a two motion, a little bit, but he's got really good energy transfer from the legs, and it's a quick, really good springy jump off the floor. He's just a springy guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he is springy. Another sleeper could be Bub Carrington because he's going to get a lot of reps with the Wizards, even though Jordan Poole has been going off, been playing better. He's probably going to get some reps. He's averaging almost 10 right now, and he was a sleeper for Rookie of the Year before the season. He's an effortless scorer in his own right. So
for all you sickos out there that want to watch the Wizards play, you got to be a real basketball fan, I think, right?
Maybe if they're playing somebody interesting, it makes sense.
Yeah,
right.
There you go. I'll do it, but I haven't done it yet. But I watched the Rockets a little bit, though. We'll talk about that in a minute. But
I mean, they're so deep, man.
They are. Yeah, everyone was making a big deal about the Warriors being deep and playing 10, 11 guys and then scoring whatever. Look at their scoring averages. I think they have more players averaging double figures than the Warriors do. It's insane. But Buzzer Beater, what's up, Buzzer Beater? Thank you so much for the super chat. They ask, what's good? When does your live stream air? It always airs right around now, right around midday on the West Coast on Mondays. However, we must wag the finger. We're talking about going live after the Cavs Celtics game tomorrow. So that's at 7 p.m. Eastern, and then we'll watch it, and then we'll convene. I mean, we should really go crazy and watch it on playback combo.
Do you want to do that? Do we have to reach out to somebody, or we just go on? How does that work?
I can do it, set it up, and whatever. So the only question is, how does our YouTube audience know that we're going to do that? Remember, we did it before. We would go live before the game and then go right into the game and watch it on playback. That's like 3 hours of just live streaming now. No.
Yeah. Let's aim for the live show tomorrow, and then maybe we could get back to that.
All right. So just remember, write it down, put it on your thing. We'll be going live after the game. And then we'll figure out the first time we'll do a playback. I think we got to resurrect that and watch some games with some people. It's fun. If you don't know what playback is, you log in with your league pass. We all watch the game together. And then we're little heads in front of the screen. And I think that they're getting to the point where we might be able to like pause and draw on top at some point or do some sort of telestrating. I know that's what I've been asking for a while. So hopefully they get to that. Okay. But by the way, someone says you're not deep if you don't win. And that is true. But are you aware of what the Rockets record is right now? I'll tell you. It's 10-4. The Rockets are 10-4. Third in the West.
Yeah, I actually liked their pickups the summer before. I talked about it in Vegas, where it's like, yeah, you want to develop young players, but you also want to develop a culture where young players could learn how to get better. And I thought the Dylan Brooks and Fred VanVleet signing was great. And I thought they had, playoff potential even at that point. But they're super deep. It's going to be interesting to see. I think they're going to have so many players that have impact in the NBA. It's just going to be interesting to see what team they have impact on, because I think there's almost too much talent on this team at this point.
Well, let's go through. Let's listen by in order of points.
Like Cam Whitmore could help a team right now, but this is probably not the ideal situation for him.
Well, let's look at this. So they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They have 7 guys averaging in double figures in points.
Yeah.
And if you look at the minutes played, the most anyone's playing is Fred at 34.8. And, the only reason why they didn't play better last year is there's injuries and they couldn't get on the court together. But I watched a piece of the Bulls, and it looks really, really good. And Ime is a terrific coach who understands how to get these guys to play together as well. And it's not even just the offense. The offense looks good. I like what I see, but they're better defensively than they are offensively, which is another thing that's worthy of a video. Is anybody going to watch that video if I do a Rockets breakdown? Can you let me know in the comments? Because, I don't want to get too in the weeds if, we're not going to watch. But it's a really interesting team. And as we know, Şengün is one of our favorite players. And they do a nice job of getting him high post touches, and they split off of that. And then he can face up, he can pass, he can shoot, he can drive. He's got a nice post game. Nice is probably not even, good enough. And of a thing to say. So the Rockets are fun. They're a fun team to watch. And Fred VanVleet's always been a favorite of any coach who watches the way he plays.
So it's interesting because last season, Jalen Green took a leap when Şengün was out. And the question was, could they play together? Then they extended both of them late. And now they're proving that they could play together and win, which is really interesting for this team.
Yeah. I mean, Jalen Green's trying to get me to like his game. I don't know if I like it still yet, but for what it's worth, because one of the reasons we'll talk about now is that he's averaging almost 20 points a game. Great. However, he's shooting under 40% from the field. And that's a big problem. And it's all related to, shot selection generally when I've seen from him, because again, the highlights are amazing, right? His highlights are better than anybody, but maybe Anthony Edwards' highlights, right?
I mean, he has one of the quickest first steps in the NBA easily.
Yeah. And he's got some of the best hops in the NBA as well.
Yeah.
Because the hops
the biggest thing between him and Anthony Edwards is strength. That's the biggest difference. Yeah.
And I don't even know if I see strength being the issue with Jalen Green, like getting pushed around.
Not the issue, but I'm just saying comparing him to Anthony Edwards. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. But like, the highlight for sheer highlights, it's like overwhelming how good he is talent wise and athletic ability. Yeah. But shot selection is a big issue. And so, Ime, you'd think at some point we'd grab him by the collar and try and help him understand that in no uncertain terms. So we'll see. But that definitely is one of the things about that's going to keep their offensive rating lower than it could be. Right now, they're 12th in the league and 3rd in defensive rating. So that's good to see, though, at the very least, that they're doing that. We have some more super chats to get to. Let's get to those real quick. We have Sicario Gaming just give us a super chat without a question. So I don't know why, but maybe if you put your question in the comments and I'll kind of try and peruse, we'll put it up there anyway. But otherwise, you're just giving us a little tip. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. We appreciate it.
We do.
All right, let's get to our next one, though, from Pookie. Pookie said, this is off topic, but I'm curious about your thoughts on Herb Jones. Is he a generational wing defender? And if the Pelicans are contenders? Okay. What do you think?
Generational. Wow, that's a strong term. But, I mean, he's one of the better ones in the league for sure. He's long. He could slide his feet. He could press even full court at times. He's a great defender, but I don't think the Pelicans are contenders. And I mean, is Zion ever going to get healthy? I guess that's the big question there.
Right. I mean, the Trey Murphy just got back, having missed, and so like they just haven't gotten healthy. So right now, I got to tell you, if you start off 4-10, which is where they are right now, I don't think many teams have started out 4-10 and made the playoffs.
So what do you think about the Bucks?
They've actually come back, right? Let me see here. They're 4-9, okay, and lost one. Wait, I thought they won a couple and then they lost a heartbreaker. I don't know if you saw that one where they called the foul on Giannis.
What do you think? Do you think they'll win? Do you think they wouldn't make the playoffs though?
Okay. Well, if you want to look at it in terms of precedent, and again, in the Eastern Conference, the way it's shaping up now, again, if you start off 4-9, 4-10 or whatever it's going to be, it's less likely. It's probably 40% something that they'll make it. I mean, because then remember, it's not even just you got to kind of get back to level and play whatever. You got to play better than that, right? You got to play 65% winning percentage to overcome the initial start. It's still early enough, and you still have a guy like Giannis, right? So you can't just sort of discount Giannis and say, but and I'm anxious to see how the fouls are going to be called now. Did you see the foul when they lobbed it up? And first of all, Giannis got beat. He played it very poorly on a backdoor that was very similar to the play that they ran to win against the Heat. So I don't know. Did you see this game? The end of the game against
I saw clips.
The Pistons. Anyway, they threw the ball up, and Giannis should have been prepared. And like this is the thing, either it's Doc didn't prepare him. I don't know what it was. I think I even heard something on the radio maybe where they got the iPad out in the huddle and showed them what the Pistons ran against the Heat to win the game, and said don't let him do this. And then Giannis still got stuck on the high side and the back door. He did try and contest. It looked kind of clean to me actually, but they called the foul. He got the free throws, and then they won the game. And then the next time, did you see the LaMelo, the call on Giannis for LaMelo when he fell down? No?
Yeah, he didn't. Yeah, LaMelo just tripped over his own foot.
It really looked like that. I wish I could have found one more angle just to see, because sometimes when you see someone's foot kick their other foot as they're running, it's usually because that back foot had gotten touched or been nudged by the defender. I can't see that. I can't see his feet being anywhere near there. So maybe there's one other angle, because otherwise it's weird. Like, how did that happen? But one reason why that happens is because when you get into certain weird angles to the floor, where you're trying to push and get a little faster, and then your head is way out in front of your feet, you're going to fall. You're going to lose your balance. And certainly LaMelo is in that category. And then they made it worse. Did you see his post-game interview?
I mean, I grew up in New York, so that was kind of like
the phrase.
Yeah,
so
yeah, that's phrase, what that.
Yeah,
yeah, that's what people say in New York. I mean, it's
really?
Yeah. That's like a New York thing.
Yeah, I don't hear that much on the West Coast, but obviously we know what it means.
It's like that, and people used to grow up saying that and pause.
Pause, right?
Yeah.
So, I get it. It's inflammatory,
and I'm not condoning anything. Combo's not condoning anything. I just want to tell you how it is growing up in New York.
Yeah, and by the way, I think it's extremely clear, and it's been that way for years. For everybody, that you just can't say that. In fact, he might have said it before and gotten in trouble like a couple seasons ago. Somebody did as well. So that's the other problem. Is it's like, listen, there's rules. They put them in there. You guys play by the rules, or pay your fine, which was 6 figures maybe. I think they charged $100,000 maybe. Anyway, he's not a very serious person, I think is what I'm getting at with LaMelo, which is fun. It's fun, but there might be a moment where he's got to get a little bit more serious if they want to compete better.
I mean, he is performing well this season.
It's fun. He's very,
yeah.
But
by the way, the Pistons will be 500 after tonight when they beat the Bulls.
Charlotte will?
No, the Pistons will be at 500 when they beat the Bulls tonight.
Well, let's talk about that, because interestingly enough, the Cavaliers don't do so well. JB Bigger, or they do fine.
Oh, wait, Coach Nick. Before we get to that, finish your super chat. What do you think about Herb Jones and the Pelicans are contenders?
Yeah, I didn't even weigh in. I don't know if he's like a generational, like Scottie Pippen senior kind of guy. And by the way, we have to discuss that, because Scottie Pippen Jr. does not spell his name the same way as Scottie Pippen Sr., and yet they're junior. I don't get that, but nonetheless. He's not a Scottie Pippen Sr. Kind of guy, but he's really good and really long. And you put Trey Murphy next to him, it's like you can't get by me, but he can't score, he can't get a rebound, he gets every shot block and stuff. So he's really good. He's a guy you'd want on your team if you want to contend, I think. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you think
he's the fourth guy in your team?
He's different than Draymond, because Draymond's like a back line kind of guy, but do you think he could get to that level one day?
I mean, Draymond's so much more physical. I don't think Herb Jones is physical like that. And I don't know if
I'm just trying to think of like some of the best defenders in the league.
Yeah. So
is he better? He's better than Tatum and Brown already.
Defensively, I would probably put him.
Yeah.
I like Brown still as defender, but
I don't think he's not better than Jrue. He's not better than
Jrue Holiday.
No, because Jrue blows up whole offenses. Like the way they use him.
Yeah.
They just leave him in the middle, and then he can guard any position. Well,
Yeah, I could go with that. I won't argue with that one. We'll find something to argue with. All right, Buzzer Beater is back. Please make a video on how the Knicks can best use Cat and Brunson and Wingstop. Oh crap. Wingstop is somebody I don't know.
Oh, Wingstop is it's Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby.
So Wingstop is a place you go you eat wings, right? And so
they're two wings, and these guys both play defense. You get it? Wingstop.
Okay. All right. Forgive me for not knowing. I think I had heard that at one point, but I had no idea what it meant. And now I learned something. That's great. Wingstop. Should Cat play at the 5? Please do Cat Celtics playback video. We have somebody who really wants that. Okay. Well, I don't know. Maybe we can go like the second half. I don't know. We'll talk about it, but we'll figure it out. And by the way, always have your notifications on. Like if we're going to go live to watch a game on playback, I could drop a community post to let you know that we're doing that if we're not going to go live on YouTube before that. So just always keep your notifications on.
Maybe tomorrow we tweet it out, and we also do a community notification that we're going on after the game.
And we post it on Blue Sky.
Yeah, Blue Sky too. Threads, IG, everywhere.
Yeah.
You could actually make an image and collab on IG.
Yeah, you're always doing that. I kind of like hit buttons. I don't really know what that is or why or what you're always asking me to collab, and I'm like, okay, it sounds good to me, but I'm never sure exactly what that means. But I'll let you figure that out.
No, I make a video and you're on it, and you collab it, and it shows up on your page too.
So what's the collaboration on my end? I don't get to interact with it, or I'm not like adding to it, right? I'm just posting it.
Yeah, because you're talking too.
But like, shouldn't it just be a share? I don't know. It's like I'll share it on my timeline. Yeah, I get it, but it's not a collab because a collab would be somehow I would be adding to it or something. Seems like to me.
Well, we're oh my God, Coach, you're getting so technical. I make a video, we're both talking, and then I send you a collab. We're collaborating on the post in terms of putting it out together. Now it's your following could see it and my following could see it.
But is that any different than adding it to my story?
Oh yeah, because you're on the major feed. Like the story disappears in 24 hours.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know that now.
Coach Nick, you don't live this IG life, Coach Nick. I realize.
I like IG when I'm there, but I don't spend hardly any time there. I feel bad.
But it's important for promotion, I think, for B-Ball Breakdown. That's how we get you over 1 million.
Yeah. All right. I'll get on there. Yeah. Anyway, as I'll fill in some of my Twitter time over on IG more because we're going away from Twitter. Get over there right now. Follow me on there. Maybe we'll do some fun stuff. With Blue Sky and
how's the features? They got like the thing on top and all that stuff.
It looks a lot like Twitter. There's a couple of things that they're still going to add. Whatever. I know it's no bookmarks as far as I could tell, but it's getting pretty close. And everyone's so nice there, and it's like a fresh start. And let's get back to where it used to be in NBA Twitter. We have some more super chats. Let's get to Braun, Godfather of the Breakdown. Thank you so much, Braun from Canada. Would love to see a video on the differences, similarities, and how the Celtics are using Jrue at the 5 versus how OKC is using Caruso at the 5. Oh, crap. I got to go through some OKC footage to see that. But that would be an awesome video, right? Wouldn't it?
Yeah, that would be an awesome video. They just lost to the Mavericks last night, right?
Yeah.
OKC. Yeah.
And the Mavericks did not have Luka. So not a good loss for
OKC. How many times have we been through this, Coach Nick, in the history of basketball? The best player sits out, and then that team ends up winning, and then everybody wants to bash that best player. But there's reasons for this. We've talked about this before, Coach Nick. We've talked about this before.
Rules change.
Yeah, I mean, usually when your best player sits out, it gives the defense a different look that they're not used to, right? Usually ball movement improves a little bit, right, in the short term because usually the best player is ball dominant. And it's just harder to guard at times. But over the course of time, it doesn't mean they're better than without that best player. That's my thing.
For sure.
Yeah.
Luka's been interesting. He gave up a game winner on some weird defense where he didn't move. They cut to the assistant who was trying to bark it all out and control it from the sideline, and that looked like that might have confused some people too. You got to be careful about over managing from the sidelines, right, defensively, because people can get a little bit frozen, like, wait, what? And it's a lot of stuff happening, and they got to be able to play. I think Luka's knee still bleeds during the games. I shared that on Twitter. You can still see it bleeding through his tights.
So weird.
Yeah, and so I suspect that he's probably getting shots or whatever in his knee, so his knee is not good, and so he's not going to move well defensively, I suppose, is what's going to happen there. What are the Mavericks rank right now? The Mavericks are they're 7-7. Yeah.
It's interesting that they don't. There's a lot of things like that go in the league that the league won't even put out in terms of their players, or teams won't put out in terms of their players, right?
Yeah.
Like nobody would know he's getting shots if you didn't see it bleeding.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's like, I'm just saying, it's like, I mean, if there's blood through his thing, you got to, like, there's a reason for that. And then it's probably related to something that's wrong with his knee, I would hope. And then that's why he's not moving as well. So that's an interesting thing that they got to monitor, because that definitely was slowing him down in the playoffs last year. And you would have hoped that, an off season he can get rest, but he didn't get rest because they had to play, in the the Olympics. So he might not have gotten the rest he needed for that knee and didn't heal. And that's a problem. So keep your eye on that. That's an interesting thing, especially on defense. But what else? What else we have to talk about? Let's talk about Dalton Connect. Have you been able to watch the Lakers at all?
Yeah, I have been. I mean, it doesn't surprise me. I couldn't believe he fell to 19th when he did. I thought,
why did that happen again? There's
no logical reason. I mean, the reason people would give you is that he's older, which is not a good reason.
Yeah, he was 22 coming out. Or when's his birthday?
I thought OKC was actually going to draft him. I think at 12.
Yeah, his birthday is April.
OKC could have had him.
I know, but they don't have any plays for him. He wouldn't have gotten off the bench.
Who knows with the small lineup they got now?
I guess, but we're talking about Houston playing all these guys. Let's see here. OKC probably is in the similar, but maybe that's in the new thing too. Another video to talk about all these teams: the Warriors, the Rockets. Let me see here. OKC minutes played. Let's do it that way. OKC is playing.
I see what you're saying. They got a lot of wings.
They're playing.
He's actually, his ability to movement shoot is unlike any other player on OKC though.
Connect.
Yeah, they don't really have a movement shooter, do they?
Outside of Joe?
Yeah, Isaiah Joe, and they have Chet, who as a big could do it.
A little bit, yeah. But if you're talking about like full speed off a pin down, than just catch and shoot it, like that's it's kind of a dying skill. Actually, that could be a video too. Are there any of those guys left?
Yeah, Duncan Robinson is definitely one of those guys.
Yeah. Jared McCain, Duncan Robinson, last of the what we gotta call those.
Well, believe it or not, Steph Curry is one of those guys still.
Yeah, Curry. Every team would used to have a guy like that, pretty much the Kyle Korver kind of guy. And
Jordan Hawkins of the Pelicans.
Okay, I'll go check it out. This is good. This is a good show already. Got some good video ideas. I was going to start relying on AI for video ideas. I don't know if it's a good idea or not. I still haven't figured that out yet. Maybe rely on AI to write the scripts. Would that be cool if they could do that?
Say it. All you got to do is prompt it. Say it like Coach Nick, and you're good. It'll be just.
You know what? I was playing around with Grok on that one, and it was kind of. And I said, okay, now make it funnier, and it kind of made it funnier. And then I said, okay, now make it use 80s references, and it was pretty good. AI's
getting better.
It's not ready yet, but we're getting there.
AI's getting better. Some people believe it's great for the future, and some people believe it's not. But I think it's good for the future. I think what it really is human intelligence and artificial intelligence is enhanced intelligence. It's all how you use it, right?
Yeah. I mean, like how it would make it a lot better for me if I said, okay, find me Jared McCain scoring in the pick and roll when he goes to his right. You know what I mean? And then boom, here are the clips. Like that would be the ways where you can really make it.
Do you use it for email and text like ChatGPT? I use it. It's great for to be an editor. And say this more professionally, or say this, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, for like emails and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. That's
RSVPs, all that kind of stuff.
All right. Yeah, good. I mean, listen, next thing you know, we're just going to be, well, it's funny because Ben Affleck was talking about this. I don't know if you saw, he had a really good take on AI and making, films. He's like, it's never going to be able to do that because, and he had some good reasons in terms of the actors themselves, what happens and the surprises that happen on set. Like you can't recreate that. AI doesn't know how to deal with that. But he described a scenario where like you have a favorite show, like Succession or something. And you could say, all right, I want, so-and-so to actually, he gets you wanting to control the company and he has an affair with this person, whatever. And you can basically tell AI to create your own episodes that didn't happen the way you want it to happen. That's interesting. And then eventually we'll all turn into the end of WALL-E, where we're just stuck in these chairs and we just watch TV all day long and then don't have use of our legs.
Wow.
Do you ever see WALL-E?
No.
Oh, it's a great movie. But at the end, they go there and it turns out they're all living on the spaceship and they all are in these automated chairs and then they try to get out of the chair and they can't walk because they hadn't walked in their whole lives. Like there's no muscle in their legs.
That's
crazy. So that's what we have to look forward to. Awesome. Can't wait. Anyway, we have some more super chats. Buzzer beaters all over the place today. Awesome. Combo, you are referring to the Ewing effect, right? That's buzzer beater. You are aging yourself a little bit as well, because yes, the Ewing effect, I think, was probably coined by Simmons, right? In terms of when Ewing would go down, would not play, the Knicks their offense looks so much better. I would say it's also the Chuck effect.
Thanks, buzzer beater. Being from New York, I never heard that before, so that's interesting.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Well, I have to tell you, and I don't know if you believe me or not, but when I was in high school, we were aware of this effect with Barkley, and I would say it out loud. I find some people I know that maybe they remember. We would say, "Look how much better that offense runs."
Which one, Sixers or Suns?
The Sixers.
Okay.
So that's how far back it goes. After Doc retired and Barkley was the man, he was great, but it would just die when it got to him. There was no ball movement, and then when he'd go to the bench, it was guys like Johnny Dawkins and. Geez, I can't remember the rest of that team, but the ball would just fly out there, and they looked a lot better.
Hersey Hawkins, maybe Sean Bradley.
Yeah, maybe Sean. I think Sean Bradley is a little bit later.
One of the most underrated guards ever. Man, what was his name? I'll get back to you.
Oh, on the Sixers from back then. I mean, there was Andrew Toney, but that's before.
Nah, he's older. I'll get back to you. I forgot what I was going to say. Go ahead.
All right, we got another one from Buzzer Beater. But thank you so much, Buzzer Beater. Really, really appreciate it. Who's your MVP? Should New York Knicks copy the Denver offense? Okay. I mean, everyone's kind of running a lot of the same stuff, although when you have Brunson, I don't know if you're going to want to run like sort of back screen handoff action with him as much, because you want to be able to get him into the creases and into the lane in his way. So I think what they're doing is okay offensively, right, for the Knicks? Or do you have any issues with their offense?
I think they just need to feature Cap even more, because Brunson's going to do Brunson no matter what. But I also think Mikal Bridges is not playing good enough. Right. And the 3-point still looks wonky at times.
Yeah,
like
but
the mid-range looks good. The mid-range.
Oh, he's like Steph Curry in the mid-range. It's crazy. Now, we can make that point as well. He hangs in the air, and when you hang in the air from the mid-range because you're closer, that's actually a good way to control power and get yourself aligned before you release the ball. So that actually plays in well. And I'm almost thinking now, maybe he figured, I am shooting well in the mid-range, so maybe I should just recreate that style for the three-pointer. That might have been what happened here, and that's why he decided to try doing that, because he had success closer in. But when you realize is that that's not going to work. Now, that said, he's shooting okay. He's 30-something%. Like, that's about okay.
The thing is that Julius Randle was a guy who could definitely draw a double. And now from the guard wing perspective, the Knicks don't have anybody like that anymore.
Yeah. And by the way, it went down to 32.6%. So that is something for sure. He doesn't have that same kind of gravity, and it's a different kind of gravity because he can score in the mid-range where, Randle loved to feast. That said, the Knicks overall are in third place in offensive rating.
Yeah. So, also, they don't have anybody rolling to the rim, which is another issue, even though their offensive rating is good.
Yeah, they don't yet. And then which is good. I mean, look, they're playing well enough offensively. They're figuring that all stuff out. I wouldn't change anything what's going on there so far. Defensively, they are ranked. I can't even find them.
Well, Tibbs doesn't have his ideal center that he likes to have. Like, we could think about Joakim Noah or even Mitch. He likes an anchor as a center.
Yeah, and ranked 21st, and that's one of the reasons why they're hovering around 500. So I wouldn't look at the offense as being an issue at all. They're figuring that out. That's good enough. But it is weird when you have those guys, OG Bridges together out there, Hart. It shouldn't be 21st. It should be at least above 15th, defensively. Even without that rim protector guy, they should be able to figure ways to cover for that, and they're not. That might be worth the video. Maybe
Mitch could help when he gets back.
There's no question. Mitch helps. Mitch towards shots at the rim. People won't even shoot him. Doesn't show up in the box score. You see that. By the way, you see that with Edie too. And then Wembanyama is probably the king of that. That's why Wembanyama will probably be the all-time greatest player we've ever seen because, not only is he going to be able to dominate on the offensive end, but then they come down there and they just don't take shots when they're nearby. Although I went to the game here versus the Clippers, and I've seen another game where it's some of these guys are not learning. They're still trying. They're like, I'm going to beat him this time. And he just knocks it away. It's crazy.
Yeah. Wemby, so you think he'll be better than MJ?
I mean, the way the game is going, it just feels like
LeBron.
Statistically, he will have every stat he would need for that argument. And then the question is, okay, will he win some titles? And if he can get a bunch of titles, then he probably he could do it.
LeBron is making a case for LeBron. I'll tell you that.
He is okay. I mean, what did we miss the last couple of games?
4 straight triple doubles.
Oh, is that right? Was it 4 straight? Oh crap! I got to do a video on that then.
Yeah, he's more skillful than ever before. That's the great thing about.
He's been able to prove it that he can do that and at an elite level. Although when he did say, I mean, I don't know if he was how serious he was. He said, "I knew what I needed to do, and I never did it until now." That's annoying, but at least
in terms of what? In terms of his shot?
Okay, if you knew what you needed to do, and obviously you do because you're doing it now, the last 2 years, then how dare you not do it?
In terms of what, Coach Nick? What are you talking? His shot?
Yeah, his shot. His 3-point shot.
Okay. Well, one thing about basketball is that athleticism will wane as you age, but you could always get more skillful even with age.
Yeah. So meanwhile, I mean, scoring's down a little bit, compared to his normal stuff, but his defensive energy is low, but he's shooting. He's just stroking it from behind the arc. He's shooting decently from inside the arc, and he's setting up his teammates well. So, I don't know. It seems like a championship is going to have to get him in front of MJ. Nothing's changed over the last several years in my mind, skill wise. Shooting okay a little bit, but he had it last year. But other than that, everything else has been as good as it's always been. And the only question then is, do you want to give it to him because of longevity?
That's part of it. I mean, I think it's fair to say MJ's peak was probably higher than LeBron's peak, but I think longevity does have to be put into it.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of does, but a lot of times I'd almost say it does because a certain player only played like 6 seasons, right? And he was great for 6 seasons, got hurt, whatever it was, and that was it. But Michael certainly played enough to have.
Yeah, nobody's knocking MJ's longevity. It's just that if your longevity is so ridiculous and you're still getting 4 triple doubles in a row at the age of 40,
right? I think it'd be a lot different if MJ hadn't gone away for a year and a half. I think his numbers would be a lot different. I think he probably gets at least another title. Like there's a lot of things that are there, which you can't add because it didn't happen. But imagine if he didn't do that. But imagine if they didn't make him take time off, which I would probably insist is what happened. Okay, Buzzer Beater. Thank you so much, Buzzer Beater. Great to see you here. Who's your MVP? Should New York Knicks cop? Oh, I already answered this, but we didn't answer who the MVP is.
Oh, Jokic is the MVP.
I mean, he is. They're not playing well enough, unfortunately, overall.
He's averaging like 30, 15, and 15, though.
I guess, yeah, and I guess the argument will also be that they will straighten that out and win enough games for him to win it.
Isn't he like destroying all his old advanced metrics that he was already the greatest in?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I keep seeing that those things popping up. I'm kind of curious who's the culprit. I like to go on the on-off summaries here they have on NBA.com to see who it shows you the differences. So right now, the biggest impact you have is obviously, his differential overall is plus 32.8. So offensively, the difference between him on and off the court is 38 points per 100 possessions. 38. Can you believe that? That's like outrageous. And then the defensive rating actually isn't great. Like they're worse with him on the floor defensively, but by 5 points. But let's see who are the other people who are the culprits? Okay, well, you know who I'm going to point to, right?
Who?
I mean, I didn't know. I sensed maybe when I looked at this who would be at the bottom. But, if you were able to, put the difference, the biggest difference in the negative side, whoever the most impact that way is, and you get rid of the people who haven't played hardly at all, Russ is the worst at negative 27. And so what that means is that his on-off offensive rating, it's negative 25.5 when he's on the floor. So when he's on the court, their offensive rating is 99.5. And when he's off the court, it's 125. And I can tell you, I know that's true. By watching those games, the turnovers, the misses, the bad decisions, those are all in abundance when you watch him play. Now, on the defensive side, it's not so bad. When he's on the court, it's 112.9. When he's off the court, it's 111.1. So they're only 1.8 points per 100 better when he's on the bench. But overall, especially for that offensive impact, it's killing them. And I think that they're going to have to limit his minutes probably more than they already are. Should I do another video about it?
No.
On
Russ?
I did one that touched upon it, but it wasn't the whole thing. But it was probably enough.
No, I think there's some more interesting videos out there.
Yeah, I hear you. But let me just see how many minutes. He's playing 24 minutes a game, and they probably got to get him to 20.
Who's the MVP? Is a good video so far.
So Jokic definitely is got to be top of the pop. Anybody else that's in that conversation right now?
SGA's in that conversation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Luka's kind of had a slow start, and they're sluggish.
And he's missed some games.
Yeah. So, who else would it be? Anybody in the East? I mean,
Tatum? Maybe. I don't think so. I don't think he's as good as Jokic this year.
Yeah. And again, it's going to be tough for Tatum because the team is just so good and so balanced, that he's not going to have the numbers at least that would really pop, I think.
Darius Garland?
Listen, if you didn't see the Cleveland video I just did, please go watch it. I make the case that Garland is more important than Mitchell in their offense right now.
Who's better?
Mitchell has been trying to prove me wrong. He might have seen the video because the last game or two, he had 30 something the other game. He looked really, really good. So maybe he's kind of shaking that off. And that's what I said in the video too. I said, imagine you have the guy who's playing better like Darius Garland, but that Mitchell has another gear he can hit, right? And they're already all-time great offensive ratings. So this is a scary team, the Cavaliers, without question. Listen, offensively, it's hard because there's a passing gene that Garland has that Mitchell doesn't really have as much of. And that's a part of the impact, especially with all the cutting that they're doing.
So you think Garland plays more like a point guard and Mitchell plays more like a two guard?
Yeah, I think so.
Garland is the most skillful player on that team. I'll give him that.
Yeah. Well, but Mitchell's got some nasty stuff that he can do.
Mitchell's a better athlete, definitely. And he's very skillful in his own right. Mitchell's not a better athlete than Garland?
Well, he's stronger. And
he's more explosive.
Too, and so quick and explosive that I don't know.
But Mitchell's a way twitchier jumper, an athlete, like his leaping ability, his strength. Strength
and leaping ability I'll give to Mitchell.
Those are big facets of athleticism. He's definitely more athletic than Garland.
Okay, I guess he's more athletic than Garland.
Yeah, I think Garland's more skillful. I think.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's a tough. It's weird because they're kind of like they're such. It's hard to compare them. I think is what I would say too in my mind. But
that's what we're here to do: answer the tough questions.
Yeah, that's true. Well, all right. So I'll go with more skillful. But man, he's explosive and he causes a lot of problems for those defenders. So.
Coach Nick, I don't even understand how you could even have to think about who's the better athlete, though. I mean, Donovan Mitchell is clearly a more athletic person than Darius Garland. Not saying Darius Garland's not athletic.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to think Garland's quicker. I would say he's probably more explosive.
But jumping has something.
Jumps higher and is stronger. Okay.
I mean, jumping is part of explosion, and how quick you jump. And I don't
say explosive. I mean, like, from a stop
to
start, to drive that kind of
I think I would say that Garland's more shifty, probably.
Yeah. But Mitchell can be, and he does. I'm kind of curious. The only interesting thing is they don't really have they do. Like Ty Jerome would be like the backup guard, like who can bring the ball up and be that guy.
They've been having a lot of different role players step up.
Yeah, so. Evan Mobley's bringing the ball up a little bit, which is interesting to me. Letting those guys get off ball too, and so now you get to see Darius Garland do some cutting and some off of the screen.
That's probably the biggest adjustment that Atkinson has made. Mobley being a hub and bringing the ball up.
I mean, I would probably argue that the cutting is maybe more profound. Less of the spotting up and standing in the corner the whole time, and then actually getting those baseline cuts or the 45s too. And that it was funny. I had made this point like probably 3 or 4 years ago, where as the offensive ratings were kind of stagnating, I believe. What we were missing was those cuts that you get layups off of, because they just wanted to stand in the corner waiting for the kickouts, and that has an effect, because you're not going to make all those 3-pointers in the corner, and then that we are now seeing the ripple effect that they're getting, because they're off of those cuts, they're getting more open threes, and then they will get the layups too. So they're kind of getting the best of both worlds, and as a result, their offensive rating is off the charts. So. Really cool to see. And, Kenny has been ready for this job for a long time. Like, as soon as he got a new job, we knew he was going to be really good.
Right. Do we have a super chat from Braun?
Did I miss one? I thought I got them all. Oh no, here it is. Good catch. When did that come in? Sorry, Braun. Here we are, Braun. Why has Kyrie looked more fluid than Dame and Murray, given they're all elite shot makers, maybe not equally, similarly athletic and injury prone? Why is Kyrie more fluid than Dame and Murray?
Maybe Kyrie works harder on his body.
I don't think he works harder than Dame. I mean, Dame really works really hard. Murray, unclear.
Proof is in the pudding.
Yeah,
like look at the
fluid. I mean, because fluid could very well just be like a movement that you're born with.
I mean, the fluidity is Kyrie's more fluid than everybody, and always has been. I mean,
right, but they're all injury prone. Is that what he's trying to say?
No, Dame and Murray don't move quite like they used to, though.
Yeah.
Like, look at we haven't seen Bubble Murray in a while, and Dame hasn't been quite Dame. Even though that first game I saw him, he looked really good. First game of the season.
Now he's been out, so that's no problem. When is Dame coming back? Do we know? He had a concussion. It's got to be soon if that's what it is, unless he was banged up for something else. But I know he had a concussion protocol, which sucks because that could linger as well. But why has Kyrie looked more fluid than Dame and Murray?
I mean, like, Kyrie was dunking in ways he wasn't as a rookie last year.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe he also wants to know in terms of like this season. Maybe he's looking better, and listen, if there's one guy that's going to continue to improve, maybe that's your point as well. Kyrie seems like he unlocks different things year to year. Dame and Murray have kind of been locked into who they are, and that's good. It's really great. But I don't know. I almost feel like Kyrie comes in with different finishes, different stuff that he.
And that kind of leans to my point. Like he's working on things.
Yeah,
that maybe the others aren't.
So it's not necessarily working harder, but
maybe not Dame, to your point, but Murray has came in every beginning of the season not in the best shape. Like, he's been doing that for a while now.
Okay. Yeah. So there's your answer, I suppose. But and then Kyrie's just a different thinker. He's out of the box in a way that
he's creative. He's a creative,
very creative. Again, the way he sees the game, and which might make him difficult sometimes as a teammate because he's just different and out there. But I feel like they figured out some things here. He's fitting nicely, and if they can kind of just figure out lineups, it sounds like, and get a little bit more better play from a couple of guys, they'll get back on to where they were. Because it's a good team. It's a good team that got to the finals and could get there again.
The Mavs.
Well, I think this is a good show. I got to go record my politics pod in 20. So I got to.
All right, I'll see you tomorrow night. Everybody, tune in.
All right, don't forget. Yeah, we'll be there. We'll do a live show tomorrow after the game. We'll talk about the Cavs and Celtics. Maybe we'll have the end of the streak. 15 straight wins to start the season. Not many teams have done that, and every team that has gotten to the finals at least. So what does that say about the Cavs? Are they going to make the finals combo?
Celtics healthy, it's going to be tough, but I hope so for them. They're fun.
If they don't make the finals, they'll be the only team ever to have a start like this and not get it. So I don't know.
Oh, wait. If you had to bet right now, would you bet?
Yeah, I would take them. They're playing better than anybody, and they have everything they need, better than anybody needs, without question. Even
I like your ability to move off your priors.
But that said, we got this is the key is tomorrow. Like, it'd be a great insight into like how that will shape up.
Oh, the Cavs are going to be like talked about in national media probably.
Yeah.
If they win
by the
tomorrow.
way, if the Celtics win tomorrow, it doesn't mean that the Cavs can't beat them in a playoff series. I'm going to be.
This is going to be playoff intensity.
Yeah, it will have it, I'm sure. So that'll be the real question: will there be an evidence that I see that I know that they could defend these guys, they can hurt them on offense? Like, that's the thing we want to see. They might miss some shots, whatever the game, they lose the game, but that's what we got to see tomorrow and find out.
Celtics are going to come out playing hard. I'll tell you why. You ever see that guy in the gym that thinks he's good, but he's not better than you, and you kind of want to show him?
Yeah.
That's what's going on right now.
All right. Well, it's in Boston too, so it's another built-in advantage for them. So come on back, and we'll do a live show after that, and we'll discuss that game and anything else we want to talk about. So thank you all for the super chats. Awesome stuff. Really, really helps us. You can't appreciate it far more than we do. I think I got everybody. And Combo, thanks for being here too.
Anytime. See you tomorrow.
Well, don't forget, sports fans, at B-Ball Breakdown. We're not a channel. We're a conversation. You in? Are you in, Combo?
Yes, sir.